yeah, it's not I mean, fermented food isn't a trend. I think the research behind why fermented foods are so good for you is really beneficial, and a lot of people are catching on to that. I know it was for me. I mean, when I started eating these lacto-fermented vegetables, over even like vinegar pickles, I could tell the difference in my health, like how my immune system has reacted to eating these foods now for 3 years, like a lot of them. I can tell when I don't eat my fermented foods. Okay, so I would say that there are 3 really main reasons why fermentation, and thinking of mostly lactic acid fermentation, is really beneficial for us. So the first thing that I always think about is really sort of the health benefits, right? So you're creating this environment and where the bacteria on the vegetable basically eats the sugars and the starch to preserve the food, to preserve that vegetable, but then it also creates these like amazing B vitamins and enzymes, various strains of probiotics, which are really good for you. So that's like one thing, and honestly, you can tell the difference when you start eating more fermented foods. Second, that they're so great for you is that, you're thinking about your local economies. I would say up here, and what we call now the Bold North, is that, we have our growing season in Minnesota is really amazing, and it's intense, but it's very short. And so, it is important to support those farmers. It's important to buy as much produce as we can, because like I said, we buy as much produce as we can, and we have it through the winter. I mean, we still have our fermented tomato paste that we're throwing in our tomato soup. So, and then that brings me to the third point, I would say, that why fermentation, or why, again, people are starting to really love this so much, is because it really does add this different dimension to flavor profiles. So it's just, it's really kind of your salt and your acid all in the same thing. So GYST is a really fun and different dining experience, and we've had a lot of people come in here and say like how much, again, that this is very different and how much fun they've had.
Products or ingredients that we use here that are all products of fermentation. Our favorite everydays are going to be cheese, cured meats and salumi, certain type of olives, miso, all of our lacto-fermented vegetables, anywhere from kimchi to sauerkraut to carrots with leek and thyme. We're making our own sourdough breads or pizzas. Oh yeah, we have fermented honey, kombucha, sweet potato fly, shrubs. We use the brine even from our lacto-fermented vegetables as brine shots. Those are like the main, yogurt, wine, beer, cider, sherry, Madeira. They're all different products of fermentation. So the idea too when developing the menu is to find ways of making these like fermented foods really approachable. So think about the sandor, the peanut butter and kimchi. When we put it together, it really has kind of these more pad thai flavors that maybe people are a little bit more used to. Or our yogurt. So we make a really lovely, just house-made yogurt, but when you add herbs and a little bit of like fermented herbs and mix it all together, it becomes this awesome ranch that you can dip old Dutch potato chips. So thinking the idea of like fermentation can be like maybe a little scary, or you're not quite sure, but then adding it into foods that are just like amazingly delicious that we would eat every day or that we've eaten all along, like grilled cheese. And then adding the sauerkraut to it is just like a way to get, a little of that fermented. It's good for the gut, but it also adds flavor.
Making fermented foods is like the easiest thing you can actually do. It really is. You can make your own kombucha at home. It's so easy. We do kombucha classes here. Fermentation, lactic acid fermentation, it's easier than jarring or canning anything. This really, as long as you follow the directions of making sure that your vegetable is under the brine that you create, and they say all is fine when under the brine. And as long as you can remember that, it's the easiest process.